Corey Holcomb, he's being sued by Anton Daniels' daughter and his wife. They suing Corey Holcomb. And Corey Holcomb brought Anton on the show that day. You know, he wanted the show to go up. He was looking for views, attention, and the situation that day on that show, that episode, it went all the way left. And this is what happens out of it. You know, Corey wanted to go and post his daughter on there, talk about his daughter. Like, Corey's my guy too, man. Like, I watched the 5150 show at times, right? But understanding, you know, you got to be mindful in certain situations. And I think, you know, Corey's not understanding that he's a target, right? So you got the situation where the girl is saying, you put your hands on her, right? And we seen the video. Whatever he did, you know, we seen it, right? They put him out there, TMZ situation. Then you got the situation with Anton that you went through, and then you post the daughter up, and now they want to sue you. It's like you a target. This is the specific reason why I understand when people start making money, they stay away from everybody. When you are surrounding yourself around people, you might have a temper. Shit happens. Shit happens, right? And when you start surrounding yourself around people, you start putting yourself into situations. And this is a fact. You start putting yourself into situations. And I think that Corey is not understanding that you need to go back in your bubble. Go back in your bubble, do your show, and lock in and do what you do. But you trying to be around people and you doing too much, and it's like you bringing a lot of extra BS on yourself. For what? You know what I'm saying? And this is how I see it. Corey could have fell back on that shit. All right, I got this situation, that shit. You know, go at Anton. You want to go at Anton? Go at Anton. You brought his daughter into it. You wasn't thinking. You wasn't thinking. See, this is what happens when you're not thinking, when you're trying to do something and you're not calculated with it. You're not thinking about what could come out of it, how it could turn out. In a situation that went left. So his daughter is suing him and the 5150 show for defamation per se, false light, defamation of Leslie Daniels with respect to the t-shirt image, defamation of Sharita Daniels with no respect to the t-shirt image, international infliction of emotion distress suffered by Leslie Daniels, international infliction of emotional stress suffered by Sharita Daniels, violation of California Civil Code Section 3341. They going at Corey Holcomb. Yeah, he put himself in this situation. They going at him. Lawsuits filed, and they going at him. So, they going at him and the show. Him and the show. They got the plaintiff here, Anton Daniels' wife, the daughter. And it says it right here. The plaintiff is Sharita Daniels, is the wife of Anton Daniels. Leslie Daniels is the daughter of Anton Daniels. And shit getting crazy. Upon information and belief, defendant Corey Lamont Holcomb, hereinafter, at all times here mentioned is an individual with a residence of place of business in the county of Los Angeles, California. Upon information and belief at all times here with Mr. Defendant, Corey Holcomb produced and appeared on a weekly podcast known as the Corey Holcomb 5150 Show or the 5150 Show. The show consists of long rambling profanity, laced monologues by Corey Holcomb, interspaced by product commercials and solicitations. Yeah, they on Corey. Upon information and belief at all times here mentioned, the 5150 Show is a business entity of known from the producers and airs the 5150 Show, and said business entity has principal places of business at the address. Let me see here. Hold up. Let me see here. Hold up. The true names, capacity, whether individual, corporate representative, otherwise. Let me see. Hold on. The plaintiffs are informed to believe they're alleged that each of the defendants named DOE, along with the named defendant, are responsible in some manner for occurrences herein alleged. The plaintiff injuries herein alleged were legally or proximately caused by the defendant. Now, Corey talked about Anton and said some things, put the daughter's picture up there. But I don't know if they're going to, really make it seem like he damaged them. This is the route that people go in a lot of situations, regardless. They want to sue. So, Anton said he was going to do this, man. And it's always when you let people into your space, you let people into your space. He brought Anton up there. They had a beef and he should have never did that. Straight up. It's like that episode, the money you going to make off that episode, the couple $1,000 you make off the episode, that shit wasn't worth what you going through. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't worth what you're going through. Anton did say some things about Corey as well. So I'm sure that Corey might try to countersue him, but Anton's not suing. It's the wife and the daughter. The wife and the daughter. So, let me see. Let me see here. Hold up. Let me see here. Let me see. Factual backgrounds. Upon information and belief, in January 2026, the Corey Holcomb 5150 Show was aired through YouTube and had a wide audience in the United States. The 5150 Show was aired on January 13th, 2026. Anton Daniels, the father of plaintiff Leslie Daniels and the husband of plaintiff Sharita Daniels, appeared on that show. After introductory comments were made by defendant Holcomb and the guests, the two individuals became involved in an intense, heated discussion and provocative remarks were exchanged. The following week, January 20, 2026, defendant Corey Holcomb aired another 5150 show. During the show, the defendant twice aired a photograph of plaintiff Leslie Daniels standing immediately in back of the American flag. They got the time frame. The defendant, Corey Holcomb, clearly identified plaintiff Leslie Daniels as the daughter of Anton Daniels. While the photo was shown, host Corey Holcomb made disparaging and highly offensive statements about the plaintiff and her father. Defendant Holcomb referred to the plaintiff Leslie Daniels on the broadcast as an ugly ASSDYKE. The defendant knew at the time of the statement was made that the plaintiff was a minor. The statement was made intentionally disparage and demean plaintiff. The defendant expected at the time that he would profit monetarily by ridiculing Leslie Daniels and subjecting her to scorn, since his podcast has promotion for products that bring a substantial income. So they saying she was a minor then. I think she was 17 at the time. I think she's, 17 now. I think she's 17 now, or she might have turned 18, but she was 17 at the time. Let me see here. On the next show, January 27th, 2026, defendant Holcomb exhibited for his audience a t-shirt which depicted plaintiff Leslie Daniel as an ape and depicted the plaintiff Sharita Daniel as an ape. Defendant Holcomb explained that viewers of his podcast could purchase the t-shirt. He alleged that all money received from views would be donated to the family of a woman shot in Detroit by ICE agents. To date, no accounting of the funds for the t-shirt have been rendered by defendant Holcomb. Upon information and belief, all proceeds from the t-shirt have remained with defendant. Damn, Corey. So they try to go at Corey about this, man. This how the game go, though. It's how the game go. Yeah, I bet Corey wish he would have never even dealt with Anton like that. Yeah. And Anton was offering Corey to have a fight. He told Corey, let's go outside. If Corey would have went outside and fought Anton would have sued him. But this is what happens, though, when you dealing with people. People will provoke you in certain situations. And then when they feel like they didn't win in the situation, they go this way. A lot of these people be popping it, but when the situation doesn't go in their favor, they turn to this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And Darlene definitely didn't want no parts. Yeah, Darlene didn't want no parts. That's my girl, Darlene. She be riding with Corey heavy, but she ain't want no parts. Just the same as when he was talking about Flacco. She was trying to correct it. See, I want to say this, right? Us as people, sometimes, we get positioned. And when we get positioned, we start thinking that we untouchable. That certain things ain't going to faze me because you hold a certain position. When I think it should be the other way around. That's when you got to be more cautious. You got to be more cautious when you got positioned. Because now you're liable to anything. You got to be cautious of who you surround yourself around. You got to be cautious about the people that you deal with. You got to be cautious about a lot of things because you're subjected as like a target. You could be hanging out with somebody and it be all good 1 minute, and then the next thing you know, because they feel that you hold a certain position, now they try and sue you. They're going against you. And you let this person in your personal space. So Corey got a situation here on his hand. Plaintiff reiterated and realleged each and every allegation set forth in paragraphs 1 through 18. Defendant Corey Holcomb on his podcast January 20, 2026 falsely stated the plaintiff Leslie Daniels was this is a disparaging, H-phobic, and I don't even want to say this shit. You know what I mean? I don't even want to say that, but y'all see what it is. Plaintiff Leslie Daniels is a heterosexual and not, the LRGT elemento stuff. The false statements was made by defendant intentionally to demean plaintiff and subject her to ridicule. Defendant knew the statements was false at the time that was made, or an alternative, the defendant failed to use reasonable care to determine either the truth or the falsity of the statement, yet made them anyway without regards of their truthfulness. Yeah, certain shit like that, man, you gotta be mindful, man. Certain shit you gotta be mindful with that kind of shit. Yeah, and Corey knows this shit though. Man, he know. You gotta be mindful, man. You know, Corey be having a show, it be 10,000 people watching this motherfucker. Straight up. You got 10,000 people watching the damn show. Yeah, it's all good that you got the audience, but you're a target for everything. People trying to find any reason, you know, and yes, you know, he's a comedian, but you're still a target. So that bull, he wasn't thinking, man. Plaintiff maintains the defendant knew the statements were false and acted with conscious disregard of a child's rights. The statements were made with oppression and malice in an effort to disparage plaintiff and damage her personal reputation, and to subject her to ridicule among her friends, classmates, and the viewing audience. As a result, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive damages. They try and get a bag. They try and get a bag. Straight up. They try and get a bag out of Corey. That's a fact. Yeah. They try and get a bag out of it. You hear Flacco. Flacco can't wait. See, this is what they do, though. This is what they do. You see Flacco. Flacco, he hoping Corey say something crazy and add his name in there. Yeah. This is what they do, though. They do shit and say shit, and then they want you to say something to them. You say something to them, oh, shit. Now they trying to, yeah, you did this and you said this and shit be crazy. Let me see here. The defendant's statements about plaintiff Leslie Daniels on the podcast on January 20th showed plaintiff in a false light. Defendant falsely stated the plaintiff was the word is a disparaging and a, you know what I mean, slur for talking crazy. The false light created by the defendant would be highly offensive to anyone in the plaintiff's position. At the time of the statement were made, the plaintiff was vulnerable, unshielded high school student. Defendant knew the statements made would create a false impression about the plaintiff. Defendant acted with reckless disregard of the truth. Plaintiff Leslie Daniels was harmed by the public statements made by the defendant. The statements made by the defendant were a substantial factor in causing harm to the plaintiff. As a result of the foregoing, plaintiff requests compensatory damages in the amount determined at trial. Yeah. Corey got a situation on his hands. Yeah, he got a situation on his hands. You know, y'all think he went a little too far? We know he's a comedian, but do y'all think Corey went a little too far, though? He might have said too much, you know, and then him targeting the daughter. You know, maybe he should have just kept the energy towards Anton. You know, he had to go to the daughter, directed it straight at Anton, whatever you wanted to say about that man. Then y'all could have went back and forth, right? And then it could have been Anton said some things, Corey said some things, so it would have stayed between them. You know what I'm saying? And if they would have been a lawsuit filed, it would have been between them. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been, bringing the family in there in the situation. Because Corey wanted to, he wanted to hit hard. Sometimes when it's war. So you want to hit hard. And Corey he got a platform that people watch. You know what I'm saying? Every time Corey do that show, he got thousands of people watching at one time. You know what I'm saying? He got thousands of people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think, the difference though, with Corey and Charleston White, Corey has a platform. He got a platform on there. And, he promoting the products of the daughter on the product and shit like that. So, Charleston White, he says these certain things, but Charleston White don't got no products for sale. Charleston White don't got a steady platform that he's like promoting shit off the platform doing it. So he goes to other people's shit. This is why, people like him and Wack do that shit. Because them going on other people's platform, they try to not be held accountable for the shit. Performing on other people's platform, doing the shit. When you got a platform, they want to try to hold that platform accountable. Yeah, Corey definitely doesn't realize that the podcasters are petty. He don't realize it. I guess maybe he's being reminded. Absolutely. It was a man situation, not a child situation. So yeah, I mean, he could have left the kid out of it. Yeah, he could have left the kid out of it. We saw the same thing with Wack testing. Yeah. Aiden. Yeah, they going backpedal. Corey thinks Bernie knew how to slide it in. And you got to know how to do that shit. You got to know how to slide it in. You can't just be, man, I'm going to just say what I want to say. You definitely got to know how to slide it in. Yeah. Especially like when you targeting, right? When you targeting, the shit get crazy. Yeah, when you targeting, it get real crazy. Make sure you smash that like button too, if you ain't hit that like button. Yeah. So let me see here. The defendant exhibited a t-shirt with the picture of the plaintiff Leslie Daniel portrayed as a monkey, was demeaning and unmistakable racist image. I don't know. They could say that it was racist. I don't know if they could say that was racist. I can't, I don't think they're gonna go for that. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go for that. They say that what Corey did was racist. Yeah, I think that was a reach right there. At the time the t-shirt appeared on the screen, defendant Holcomb made clear his viewers that the figure appeared on a t-shirt were members of Anton Daniels' family. The depiction of black people as apes and monkeys is deeply rooted racist and dehumanizing trope with a long history designed to deny humanity of African descended people and justify slavery discrimination. This image is understood to be degrading and demeaning that it could not possibly be passed off as satire or humor. I don't agree with that one. Yeah, I don't agree with that one. I don't believe that you know, they can say Corey was being racist because he put a picture of a monkey up there, and this is what he referred to her as. I don't think that. I don't know if she looked like one, but I don't, I can't go with that one. That one ain't selling me on that one. Let me see. How much we got here. Yeah, I can't take that one. For real, for real. I ain't going for that one. Let me see here. I'm gonna scroll down here. So smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let me see here. I didn't put the daughter up there. I ain't gonna put the daughter up there. I ain't gonna put her up there. Yeah, I ain't gonna put her up there, but yeah, I think he went too far. Yeah, he might have went too far. Involved the man's daughter, did too much. But it's up to the court to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's up to the court to make that decision in that situation. So we're gonna see how this turns out. And we're gonna see how this turns out, man. Facts. They gotta we can show this though. This the picture that they saying Corey held up there though. This is what they saying. They got a picture of Darlene, Craig, and Corey holding the picture. Yeah. I mean, they might settle out of court. They might just be trying to make a statement. But Corey gotta relax though, man. I ain't gonna lie. Corey really gotta relax. Yeah. Corey gotta relax, man. He doing too much. Let me see. He doing too much, man. Yeah, he doing too much. And they got up close and personal joints. They ain't playing no games. Yeah. What y'all think about that? Tell me what y'all think about that. Do y'all think what do y'all think about that though? Honestly. Yeah. What do y'all think about this one? Think it's too much? Yeah. It's Corey. He in a situation. Yeah. Yeah, man. You're a target. The bigger you get, you're a target. He said another example of a man who loses his wife. He goes downhill. I think his wife been going though. I think Corey's wife been going. Yeah, I think he was, still married to her, but I think the relationship had been gone. Yeah, you funny. Yeah, you funny with that one. Let me see here. But it could be that he gonna have to pay some money. You know, he could have to pay some money and then it just they settle. But it could be they try and go hard. You know what I mean? We gonna see though. You know what I mean? Corey might have should have left this one alone. You know, he might have should have left this one alone and said, I'm gonna relax on this one.